Sorry, everyone. I'm not sure. No one's joined yet, but I'm not sure why there's so much feedback. Well, not even feedback, just background noise. I think that's a little bit better. There's just a whole lot of white noise in the background. I can hear like static kind of in the background, like a static TV. Kind of sounds like that through my phone. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Oh damn! Yeah, we're definitely well off the pace. Although that's with a hard tire, so I'm not sure what our actual pace is. I haven't done much practice. I only did 5 laps last night, so this is my practice session now, just before we go into the race. I'm gonna try and make the 9 o'clock one, but I'm not sure if I will. Just gonna test my audio and see how that all sounded. Alright, I've been watching it back. I'm not sure why there's still so much static in the background, but I can't figure it out. I don't know, I'm not great at the streaming stuff or the technology side of it. I just do this so that I can do some racing and share it with everyone. Getting some practice on the medium tyre here. I'm not sure if my seat's set up properly just yet. Yes, I have been driving with the cockpit view. It's just a little bit easier with this car, to be honest. With the roof cam, you don't really see anything. But anyway, I'm not here to talk, I'm here to race. Oh, got a 3-second penalty even. Yeah, it's coming out of that last chicane that's catching me off on most of my attempts. Well, not most of my attempts, but you know what I mean. It's mostly what I'm struggling on. That's the wording for it. You got a short shift out of the second and third, but it's very easy to get it wrong with the throttle application. Anyway. I missed my breaking point entirely. Okay, not the best laps, but still a good first couple of laps. 37.3 as a fastest on the medium. I think that's only 2.3 off the soft tyre time for our lobby. So that's actually pretty good. I think the fastest lap in the world at the moment is a 1 minute 30 flat. So that's not bad for our opening laps. I just need to make sure that I actually hit my brake lines, or brake marker rather. Yeah, not bad for the. We're not going for consistency just yet. We're trying to go for where the hell am I meant to put the car on the track. This is my practice pretty much. I haven't done anything this week. So 137.3, which I don't know if these are medium or soft tire times, but I imagine they're going to be soft. So it's not too bad to start off with. I think I'm going to go do some soft tire practice now. I've done hard yesterday, which was the 139 time that we beat. We're about 2 seconds faster than that on the medium, so that's pretty good. So we'll do a soft tire time so that we've got practice on all 3 tire compounds. And then we'll stack ourselves against the 135.7 and the 134 flat of American Pug and Tomahawk. So we'll get in some soft tire practice and we'll just see how we go. Because the big thing is that the track is still going to be the same, and we're probably going to have to drive the same on every tyre, but the grip level is going to be different. So just getting an idea of what it's going to be like on each tyre is never a bad thing. Through spoon, I'm opening the steering too early from that second part. Like, I'm opening the steering almost entirely. Not gonna lie, this is kind of difficult. Yeah, keeping it on the track is a lot harder than I thought it would be. That's the problem, trying to keep it on the line. It's very easy to go a little deep on the brakes or have a little bit too much speed through the corner or just open the steering too much. What's our fastest? 135.3. I think that beats the 135.5 I said was the goal. Pretty good tyre across the board then. Pretty good speeds across... wow. Third time. Pretty good times across the board on each tyre compound as well. So medium, hard, soft. About a 4-second difference between the soft and the hard for us at the moment, and that's with only a couple of laps on each tyre, so we're only going to progress as the night goes on as well. What is it? 8:45 right now. Yeah, so as the night goes on, we'll get some better times and we'll learn the track as we go. We might even actually watch a leaderboard time and see if we can pick up a thing or two, because there's a lot more time in these laps. Like the optimal down in the bottom right here is saying a 135.1, which would be a pretty good time actually. Still a second off of American Pug, but that's fine. So 136.4, 136.1, 135.5, 137.2. We made a mistake there, and I think it kind of unraveled from there, because 136 flat. We managed to do another one of those, and then a 135.3. So we actually had some decent, not the best consistency. Actually, no, it's pretty good. That's actually pretty good for what our fastest times are compared to our average time. That's pretty alright. About 2 seconds off of Aussie Pug's pace, but that's also steadily increasing as we go. So like I said, as the night goes on, we're going to learn more, and by the looks of things, we are going to get a little bit faster. So for our first practice of the week, it's actually a pretty good session. I'm liking the way that we're progressing, and I'm pretty sure each sector got faster as well. Through Degner 1 and 2, we do carry a little bit too much speed through Degner 1 sometimes, but what is it? Sector 2, 16 flat, 16.2, 15.8, 16.8. There must have been a mistake there. Fastest was a 15.8, but we got to 15.9, so it was steadily decreasing. The first sector is kind of all over the place, but typically around that that high mid 26, so 26.6 or 26.7. is our normal time through sector 1 at the moment, or average time I should say, the closest average. And the optimal they reckon is a 26.4. oh no, that's our fastest that we got, and the optimal would be a 135.1 if we manage to string together all 4 sectors. Sector 4 is looking like it's typically around that 17.9, 17.8. The consistency on sector 4 is pretty good, but at the same time that one's mostly straights and a singular chicane, so not much to go off there. Sector 3, that's the one with the hairpin and spoon, I believe, or part of spoon maybe. I know, with spoon, all of spoon. So 35 flat, 35.1, 35 flat, 35.6, 35.5. Okay, so sector 3 was pretty good for the first 3 laps, or pretty average, sticking to roughly the same amount of time across the sector mark. And then we got 2 35.6s, but those were our bad laps, I believe. Oh no, 137.2, yep, that's a mistake, and a 136 flat. So we must have made a mistake in sector 3 and lose a little bit of time, but it was still a pretty fast lap as it was. So I think for race pace, we'll probably try to stick to a 136. We're going to increase as the night goes on as well. Slowest being, not slowest, final lap being a 35.2 on sector 3, but again, we made a mistake on the last lap, so I kind of bailed, but still a 135.9 is pretty good. Anyway, moving on, I'm just yapping at this point about sector times. We managed to get a pretty good time. This is kind of where we want to be for our lobby. So in the last Manufacturers Cup, I raced this guy and we were fairly similar in pace, but throughout the S's and the windy parts we were a little bit faster. This guy I raced in the last Nations Cup race, which was on Saturday, and that was in the F3500A. Go give that a watch if you want. There are 2 different videos of it. There's one with all three attempts, and one of them has just the win. We did win that race against Domahawk as well. But he's a pretty fast driver. We were a little bit faster in the race, so I kind of expected to see someone like this, with no disrespect. And American Pug, I've seen that his times are a little bit faster than mine. I see that he's actually messaged in the chat, "Hi buddy, I'm out for dinner for my granddaughter's birthday, so good luck racing." No problem, man. Say happy birthday. Yeah, have a good night, man. But yeah, no, he's a pretty fast guy. He actually made us a livery for three of our cars, the BMW, Porsche, and Audi R8. But yeah, so where does that put us in the world then? That should be pretty good. Okay, 2,275th in the world at the moment with that lap time, and we are 4 seconds off the fastest lap, which sounds about right for our lobbies. And between 2,000 and 600 is, for my group, would be between 6th place and 1st place. Depends on what your race pace is in the actual race and everything, but this is actually a pretty good standing. I'm actually really happy with this. 6,000th is kind of when we're in the low mid pack for my lobby, but either way, that is all very good news. I'm happy to see that we managed to get a pretty good lap with almost no practice. So we're gonna go into the race series, or the entry rather, and might get... actually, I think I might watch a leaderboard lap time and see if I can pick up a thing or two, because if we've got good pace like that, and that's with missing most of our apexes on that corner, on that track, then I reckon we can do some pretty good... We can get some pretty good intel if we watch one of the faster times and see what it is that they're doing to help the car manipulate itself and hold its line and not go wide. Or I've noticed that you have to just trust the aero on this car. It has a lot more grip than you expect it to have, and it's like front end grip, not rear. Coming out of the corner, if you're not gentle on the gas, you will be spun out, and it's kind of difficult to control sometimes. But either way, like I said, we are going to watch a lap time. I'm not sure if there's going to be a replay to watch. It's not looking like there is. Oh no, there's a singular replay, and it's 48th in the world. So we're going to watch this and see if there's definitely going to be things that he's doing differently to us, but we'll see if we can implement either some of those lines or braking points into our race as well. I've noticed that turn 1 you can almost go into there with no brakes. I'm pretty sure you can go in there with no brakes, but I don't know if you can go in with gas on or not. That's what I've been trying to do, to figure out if I can go in with a little bit of a leading throttle or if I need to completely bail from the gas going into that turn. But then for turn 2, immediately afterwards, because this is Suzuka, you have to add a dab of brake while downshifting to slow the car. A lot of this car is just downshifting to slow the car or rotate it. But either way, we're going to start this replay and see what we can pick up. Okay, so that was a pretty good example right there. He came in foot flat. I don't know if anyone saw that. I will go back just a couple of seconds and we'll take a look at that. So the information for the accelerator and brake for anyone who is not familiar with this game is on the bottom of the screen on the right and left side of that moving red line. And he's foot flat through there and partially on the brakes, and downshifts all the way to 2nd and then upshifts to 4th on the way out. With a tiny bail in 5th, he does downshift, so that's the same as us. He upshifts to 5th and then downshifts to 3rd. He's in 5th coming out of this corner. What is it? Dunlop curve or whatever? Degner 1. No brakes at all. I don't think I saw any brakes through Degner 1. I was thinking maybe no brakes, but I just haven't been brave enough to try it yet. Down to 3rd for that corner, staying in 3rd for the exit as well. Into the hairpin. What's his braking point? Yeah, it is the end of the rumble strip. and you got to hold that apex, or hold that rumble strip rather. Now I'm interested to see how he takes spoon. He does go down to fourth, okay. And then a little bit of gas, down to third, up to fourth. I don't think he meant to shift to fifth there. Up to fourth, pulling it out of the corner, comes close to the left-hand side of the track to shorten the distance strip and down the straight. 130R, foot flat, naturally. Holding that inside line. Right at the 100 board, and he does shift down to first to slow the car. So he's in third. And he has to short shift as well. He actually comes out wide and then cuts back to the wall. Okay. 132.2. So that's only... No. What's my fastest? 35.3. Okay, so that's 3.1 seconds faster than us. It's a bit of time. It's a bit of time. But... Okay, I've got to watch that again when actually... What's the time? 8:53. Race starts at 9. Okay, so foot flat through there, just over half braking and down to second to rotate the car. Does he start accelerating in third or fourth coming out of turn 2? He's in fourth by the time he's on the gas. Stays on fifth, down to fourth. Go up to fifth and then down to third. Little bit of brake to hold it on the rumble strip. He's real jumpy on the throttle through Dunlop curve as well. Little bail from the throttle for Degner 1 and down to third for Degner 2. Coming up to the hairpin, you brake just as the rumble strip ends and you come close onto the on the inside rumble strip in first gear. Upshift to second and you... see, he's not short shifting the way that I was though, so I'm not sure if I need to. He does go to the 7th. At the 50 board, he's on the brakes. Down to 4th. 3rd, up 4th. I still don't know what my strategy is going to be as well, because it's all good and well, you know, practicing your fast lap and seeing how quickly you can go around the track, because, you know, you learn the track and you learn how to set a good qualifying lap. But the reason I practiced on all the tyres is because we have to do a mandatory tyre change off the hard, medium and soft, or we'll change between each tyre rather. If we start the race on the hard, we have to change to medium and soft, and every other way around you want to look at it. I think my starting tyre will... I think my starting time will very heavily dictate what tyre I'm going to run for the start of the race. Like, if I fall quite far back in the field, I'll start on the hard tyre and do a long stint and just do hard, medium, soft, and then have a fast end of the race. But I'm thinking that, because this is 25 laps, right? So the pack is going to be fighting a lot for positions off the line because, oh, I need to get this position before it settles. Which means they're going to lose their tyre wear quite quickly, and they're going to shred through that rubber within a good couple of laps, depending on what tyre they're on. So I'm thinking for the start of the race, no matter what position, unless I'm above 4th on qualifying, I think I'll start on the hard so that I don't fight for position so much, but also have a tyre that can endure that amount of stress with all the overtakes and the passing and the going on the wrong side of the track and going off the driving line and battling for positions and, you know, all that good stuff on the opening laps of the race. Then in the middle stint, which I think I might do between lap... I don't know how long the hard is going to last, but I think between maybe lap 13 and 18 maybe, I might do the soft tyre and have a really good middle sector, depending on how many positions I've made off the start, and then I'll be able to have a real good fast middle stint and by the end of the race, if people have caught up or not, then we can go into the medium and have a tyre that's going to survive that amount of battling towards the end of the race, because the last lap of the race is always intense, and be able to have more tyre life towards the end of the race and survive them. But at the same time, they might again be on the soft and have faster lap times than us and be able to do the overtakes a lot easier because they just have that grip available. Because don't forget, there is 2 seconds between each tyre compound, so that's a lot of time. But at the same time, this is also a 25 lap race of a 1.5 minute lap, so that's roughly an hour, 45 to 50 minutes, which is pretty intense. So we got a lot of laps, so we got to make sure that we get these stints right. We get 5 attempts tonight, and with the lap times we've already been setting in, it looks like we're going to have maybe a good race. We are 2,275th in the world at the moment for our current lap time, practice lap time, which is a 1:35.3, as we can see on the screen there. And that's with only a couple of laps practice on a soft tyre. We've got the track experience now, I guess, the track layout, and we're a bit more familiar with the car, but as the night goes on, that's when we're just going to get even stronger and learn the car a little more and find a few tenths here and there, maybe even a second. I reckon we've got an entire 1.5 seconds on that lap. I think that's how much I've been losing just on, you know, missing braking points and still just getting familiar with that first sector. That first sector is very, very intense in this car because it's, you barely touch the brakes, so you've got to make sure that your line is right, because you can lose 3 tenths by the time you get to the end of the S's just because you took the first corner a little bit wrong and you've messed up your line for the next, how many corners are through that first sector? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 before you get to Degner 1 and Degner 2. So that's pretty intense. So that's definitely the sector that we want to be focusing on the most. I do know from experience and from previous races where it's happened on multiple different tracks that I'm generally faster on the windy section of the tracks. However, the long, fast sweeping corners, kind of like a track like Interlagos, I would be pretty good. But when it's a long sweeping corner, kind of like Spa, going through Blanchimont, or what's a really fast left-handed down the hill just after No Name Corner. I don't remember the name, but those tracks there, I'm normally a little bit slow. So I think we might have a really good I think we might have a really good Sector 1 and Sector 2, but a shocking Sector 3 and Sector 4. I have no idea what to expect. Exactly that. I have no idea what to expect. So we're coming into the race. We have 334 points on the board, on our board at the moment, and 101 up for grabs. I'm going to make sure that I'm on the soft tyre for qualifying here, because I've gone into too many qualifying with medium and hard tyres. There is Domahawk saying hello to us. We shall say hello back. But yeah, 334 points on the board. There's a couple of 400 pointers in our race, so I'm not sure where we're going to be. We want to have a pretty good race by the end of this, because we are 30th in the region at the moment, the Oceania region for the Nations Cup standing. So want to have a pretty good race here. Don't know what's going to happen with the qualifying. I'm not sure what the fast times are for our lobbies, and I'm not entirely sure what my true fast time is yet. I'm going to see how close I can get to a 35.3. I think I'll be happy with a 35.7 or a 35.8. I'm happy to fight from the middle of the grid. We've got 25 laps here, and yeah, 25 laps. Fighting from the middle of the grid, I'll definitely be starting on the hard tyre and just see how many people I can outlast. This car is a little bit difficult to handle on worn tyres though, and we got 5.5 minutes left of qualifying. I'm just waiting to get a very big gap here because I've had too many lap times be impeded in recent Nations Cups. Still a couple of people in the pit lane. Is there anyone behind us? I can't see. Alright, well, I'm gonna go. I'm not waiting around for these guys. Double hawk and no penalties are in the pit. Just gonna let this guy go past. Just because he's sticking quite close to us, and I want to make sure that he gets pretty far in front of us. But he's watching his pace as well, which might actually lose us an attempt if we lose too much to him. It's a good sound of a car going over the bridge. Yeah, I know I missed my apex there, but I wasn't exactly going for it. Just gonna build more space because he's still quite close. This is a foot flat section anyway, so we'll definitely give him a lot of space here. Same as the start of this next straight. So what? Out here in fourth, third. Wait, wasn't he in second for that to rotate the car? I think so. Right, anyway, I'm going to turn off my mic and start focusing now. Yeah, and I just fucked my second attempt as well. I tried doing the straight on thing that I just saw in that leaderboard time and messed it up tremendously. Right, so we're starting 10th by the look of it. Probably lower, to be honest. That was so close. We only just got to cross the line for a third attempt. That was messy through the digners. Okay, so we came across the line with a 35.9 and it still was not good enough to improve. I didn't expect it to be, let's be real. I missed Digna 1 and Digna 2 royally on that last attempt. And just, on my first attempt, just completely messed it up coming out of the last chicane. So, good start. Starting the race in the hard tyre then, we will be making this compound work. We're just going to get the hard tyre out of the way. We're just going to get rid of that slow tyre and use it on the slow part of the race. It's okay if we lose a couple of positions here. Surviving the race can get you so many more positions than actually fighting for positions, especially in this car. So we're just going to sit at the back of the pack and watch everyone battle it out on the fast tyres and just lose all their tyre grip and lose all the strength. And then we'll hold on with the hard tyre for a good couple of laps, wait until about lap 13 or 14, see where we are compared to everyone else, and then decide whether we're going to go on to the soft or the medium, and see if we want to finish a race on the fast tyre or the harder wearing tyre. Anyway, here's the intro. Alright, coming into the race then, it looks like the people in about 5th and above are setting what are our fast soft tyre times. So I don't think our pace is going to be too different to theirs. We got a bit of a bad qualifying, so take our position for granted at the moment. But like I said, we're just going to be outlasting everyone and see how we do in the race. Just see how we hold on, give it a couple of laps, and then we'll decide what our strategy is, I guess. But either way, on the start, I'm going to have traction control anyway, just because I don't want to spin out straight away. And we're only settling into the race. We're 3rd from the back of the pack, so we've got a lot of work to do here. Anyway, race is starting soon, so I'm going to mute and just enjoy the racing. I don't know why I expected any different. Every time it's the same thing. Just no space on the exit. I'm sure I left space for him. Let me know let me know if you think differently, but I'm sure I left space. Dirty tires. Nice. Okay, so now we're 11 seconds down on 11th. And decreasing because we have damage on both right wheels and just the front wheel. No, none now. And dirty tires. Anyway, good start to the race. That time I just did it myself. Look at this. Damn. Huh. Okay. Right. Well, we're going to do this race anyway because, like I said, 25 laps. And that one, I think what happened was I was just on the brakes and the car didn't want to turn. Car doesn't turn when you're braking. Noted. Okay, new mission. Don't get lapped. We're only 2 positions lower than we were at the start of the race, so technically we haven't lost too many positions. We just lost 30 seconds. I said made mission survive and I didn't survive on the first lap. What am I doing? Okay, I'm gonna shut up. I think I got used to the soft, and this tire has just got way less grip. Alright, so naturally the leading pack has started on the soft, which is good news. And Mr. Magoo down there has started on the hard, and TJS has started on the soft. They're coming off the hard a little early. I know that it's wearing down quite slowly, but this is not a medium tyre. Naturally, Mr. Goo has gone onto the medium. That would be the right tyre compound to choose for this stage of the race. I'm just going to stick with the hard because I'm not getting too bad times. I had a little bit of a slip on that lap there. A terrifying one actually through the first part of the track. Oh, I meant to turn in early for turn 2. That's my apex on the hairpin. Got distracted by MJ 201.99 coming into the pits. Feel like I should have gotten more practice on the hard. That's fine. This one seems to be doing alright. Another terrifying moment there. I think I'm going to do one more lap on the hard and then I'm going to go to the medium. Because we're setting some decent, well not decent, but alright pace on the hard here. But the medium is just, we're not getting positions in this race. Let's be real here. Not with the way I'm driving on these hards anyway. Because the hards aren't very worn. So I want to see how far I can take the mediums. Yeah, so I'm going to change to the medium tyre. I'm kind of losing it on the hard there. We're going to lose so much time anyway. I don't think we're going to get any positions this race, but if we can at least last, maybe we will. Doesn't help we got spun out on the first lap. Yeah, no. I just had a look up at the track map, which is why I missed my breaking point there. TJS, who was in front of us in 11th, no 10th, I don't know, what position were we? We were in 12th. TJS in front of us was 13 seconds in front of us, or 12 by the end of 130R, and he was further from 10th than we were from him. So there was no way that we were going to win that race. Not even make a position. Maybe one, and it would have been 11th, so I'm not even going to bother with that. Next race is at 10 o'clock. I need to practice on... I don't know what the strategy is. I really don't know what to do. It all depends on how fast I set a qualifying time, or how fast my qualifying time is, rather. And also not being taken out on the first lap by someone not leaving me space on the exit. I'm gonna rewatch the live stream and see if I left him space or not, because I'm sure I did. Yep, okay, I've gone straight to the start. Look at that, perfect. Look at that, the efficiency. Okay, here we are, coming into the corner. Yeah, behind 10th. Switch back to my radar. There's 12th behind. No, okay. I already avoid a couple of cars. I'm on the outside. So I shoot past. Am I on the outside of Dumbhawk? No, it's someone else. Hyder Racer 22. So I'm on the exit of the corner, nowhere to go. Try to hold it straight, and he's right there. I think I turned to cross him, but I didn't know he was there. Okay, well, I don't think it was anyone's fault. I think that was just a racing incident. But at the same time, our race was ruined on lap 1. In a real race, we wouldn't have been able to continue on like that anyway. So it makes sense. We had we had damage on both our front right wheel and our our right rear. So we were limping right the way around the track. I didn't expect to make any positions. Now bear with me. I'm going to open a window because it's kind of hot in here. Okay, so a bit of a disappointing first race. We got 25 minutes until the next event opens, so I think I studied that replay kind of well, but I don't know what tire it is. I think I just need practice with this car and track, to be honest. It's very difficult. This track, I'm not going to say at the moment I'm good at it, but when I first started playing Gran Turismo, this was I was normally pretty good on this, but with a 500 horsepower Group 4 NSX versus a, how much horsepower does this have? Almost 800 horsepower, whatever that thing is, spaceship. The track all of a sudden goes from a somewhat mediocre sized road to a very narrow line. And you're walking on a tightrope with ice skates. That's what it feels like driving this track. And like, yes, there's space, there's a little bit of room for error, but a lot of these corners you have to be dead on with your braking, with your turning, with your accelerating, with what gear you're in. Everything has to be absolutely perfect, which naturally, yeah, that's a part of racing. You want it to be perfect. That's how you go fast. You have the right braking for the corner, and you downshift it in the car so that you can control the yaw rate comfortably, and you don't upset the balance of the front suspension and the rear suspension, and it kind of just swings into the corner, and it's like you're gliding through the track. But this one, I think this car really shows how smooth you are on the controls, and I know that I'm not the smoothest. I'm aware of that. That's why I do this, so that I can practice. But it's just it's just getting used to it on this track. Because on Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, which was one of the first tracks of the season, it was this car as well. I think it was the second race rather. We were in this car as well, and we were fighting for the lead. Like, we were battling the leader for, I think, about, I don't know, 10 laps. He gained a little bit of a gap, but for a good chunk there, we were right on his tail, and we were just following him throughout the track, which is also on my channel if you want to go check that out. But yeah, no, just trying to control this car is... Trying to go fast on this track is one thing as it is. This is not an easy track. You got the S's at the start, which if you mess up one line into one corner, you pretty much mess up that entire sector and go slower. You got Digna 1 and Digna 2, which are really, really easy to mess up. It only takes one slightly wrong move and you've completely botched it and you're going off into the barrier. Or, well, actually there's a runoff that stops you from going into the barrier, but you get my point. You've got the hairpin coming out of Digna 1 and Digna 2, which if you miss the braking point, even by a fraction, it doesn't even have to be a full meter. It can be the most minute of millimeters, and you will go deep into the corner and you'll lose about a tenth or two on the exit. Coming into spoon, you got to quickly downshift from 7th, sorry. You're coming into spoon in 7th gear at, here we go. On the live stream, I'm about to come up to spoon, so I can tell you exactly how fast you're going on the entrance. I'm doing 295 kilometers an hour by the time I get to my braking point. And you've got to quickly drop it from 7th gear all the way down to 4th, which doesn't seem like a long way, but when you're going that fast, it really does feel like it. Then you come out of the corner in 5th gear, you've got to quickly downshift again from 5th, because you upshifted on the acceleration on the exit. You have to downshift from 5th all the way down to 2nd, just so you can get the rotation for the next part of spoon, and then you've got to upshift to either 3rd or 4th, whichever your liking is, so that you don't spin the car out when you're on the exit of spoon and going off into the wall. In 2nd, it's way too easy, so you've got to upshift to 3rd. In 3rd, it's not as easy, but it is still fairly easy. And it's a corner that catches a lot of people out, because if you get that first part of spoon wrong, you're going to go wide, and when you go over the rumble strip there, that turf patch will just light up anything that touches it, and you pretty much spin out. It's honestly a feat in itself, controlling the car over those green patches. But then you've got 130R, which is pretty self-explanatory, but it's really easy to turn just a touch too early, and you go over the rumble strip and catch the grass on the inside of the apex, and then that makes your tyres dirty for the braking zone for the chicane right at the end of it, which is this one here. And when you get to the chicane, your tyres are dirty, which are on the left side of your car because of the left-hander. And that means that the side of the car that the weight is going to shift to with the right hand entry into the chicane, you're going to have less braking because tyre grip dictates your braking, and you're also going to have less grip for that corner because, well, you got dirt and grass and stones and whatever all over your tyres from going off the track. And then that affects the exit of your chicane, because your entry to the chicane could make you go a little bit deep, and when you come out of it, well, you've gone deep, so you're not going to be able to switch back for the apex, which you very well might, but you'll be about 2 tenths or so down by the time you come out of the chicane. So just all those mistakes there that I mentioned can cost you easily 1.2 seconds. Easily. That's the lowest it'll cost you. You make any one of those mistakes in a row and you're not going to have a very fun lap. But again, all those things being said, that's why when you get the lap right, it feels symphonic, because you come through the first S's and you don't even let off the gas coming into turn 1. You come to turn 2 and you lightly apply the brake, and you go from 7th all the way down to 4th or 3rd, whichever you want for the rotation. Pull it out of the corner, and you got the S's coming up right in front of you. You got a 5th gear coasting corner, which is the first one, into a downshift into 4th and accelerate out of for the second one to the right. Then you've got to lightly dab the brakes and come down to 3rd or go up to 5th, whichever you prefer, so that when you accelerate out of the left-hander, you're not drifting too wide, and you can still hook the apex for this long part of the S's, which is the final one, before you come to Dunlop Curve, and that's a very technical corner in itself. This track is very difficult, but it's so fun at the same time. So I'm not sure what tyre it is that we need to practice on in particular, but I think we need to get some practice in, because this track gets very, very narrow, especially at these speeds. You're controlling a spaceship inside a go-kart track. Narrow walls, well, there's no walls, but it's a narrow track, but you've put something that doesn't belong on it. Well, actually it does. They race F1 around here. This track is a good track, and I'm not saying it's a bad track. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's too narrow. I'm just saying you really notice how narrow it is with this vehicle. Like, if it was the GT500s, like from a couple of weeks ago on the daily races, that one was a pretty good race. I actually really enjoyed that, and it also had dynamic weather, which the GT500s, because they're technically considered a Group 2 car, it's very, very easy to light up the rear wheels, but you don't have as much aero as this Red Bull competition car does. So you come through the corner at quite a high speed, but you don't feel like your skin is being peeled off from the wind force like this one does. I don't know. I think that all makes sense. I don't know what I'm even saying. I think I'm just yapping about how difficult. I think I'm just complaining about how my last race went. Yeah. So hard, medium, soft is the tyre compound available for this race. So I'm going to watch a soft tyre compound video and see if I can learn a thing or two again. Where is it? It was 48th, wasn't it? And I shall turn my mic off for it and put it on a loop so anyone watching can learn a thing or two as well as myself. Taking into account my first test, I'm thinking I might start on the mediums. It's kind of hard to say what the best strategy is after my first test, because I didn't even really get to test it. Like, I was trying to put myself against the time delta after we fell behind, but that wasn't really a good example because I was on hard and pretty much everyone right in front of me was on medium and softs. Did I just run a Ferrari pit strategy in the race? Is that what happened? Maybe I'll start on a medium or a soft and an actual competitive tyre compound to start the race. I just don't want to blow through all my tyre strength on my first lap settling into the race. That's my thing. I mean, I can do the medium, but I think I'll do the medium this time and then do the hard throughout the race. I don't want to use the hard too much. I mean, I saw what the wear was on the hard, and we lost about an eighth of our tyre within the first 8 laps, so it wasn't great. So I imagine if we did 8 laps on the medium, it would be probably equivalent to a third warm. So maybe do the medium first. Maybe the medium can go longer than I think it can. Because that's the thing I'm trying to take into account for, is how long am I going to be able to do the softs? How long am I going to be able to do the mediums? I can't see the tyre wear in practice. I can only see it in the race. And the mediums didn't fall off too quickly. I mean, I only did a couple of laps on them, but that's because the race was already going terrible. And I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time with this. I'm going to step back, reevaluate, and see what happens. But yeah, I think I might start on the mediums. Try to take those as long as I can go. Do the hard. And do the hards up until I think I can do the softs with enough tyre wear towards the end of the race that we can still hold ourselves quite comfortably. Actually still hold on to the track. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good one. think that's better than the hard medium soft or hard soft medium. I just don't like this. That's the thing. Like, if it's like the only available tyre in the race, then yeah, but when it's three, when two of the faster compounds are available against it, ask me what I want to pick. But yeah, okay. I'll give the medium a go, and I'll try and judge how long the softs are going to survive from how long the mediums go. Damn, I say way too much. I was watching one of my streams the other day just so that I could edit it down into a YouTube video, and I noticed that. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, going into the entry period, I believe that is open now. Yep, it is. We have 11 minutes to go before the next round. We are now 2,310, so we have gone down in terms of our global lap pace. Oh, I didn't notice Egan Norwood was on here. That is an old track. It's a very old track. I don't know if is that the Matterhorn one that was in Gran Turismo 5 or 4? I don't remember. I don't know. I was very young when I played those. But Mount Panorama, I might do that in another stream, because that is one of my favourite tracks right there, along with Suzuka and Laguna Seca and Interlagos. Can you see I have a type? I won't be able to watch you race, so good luck. Let them crash himself in the second corner. Yep, I think I went a little bit too whole hog into the second corner. Completely forgot to take into account that there's going to be other people in there. And well, no, I didn't forget about that. It was the concertina effect that I forgot about. So I'll be a little bit more mindful of that this time and just let them take themselves out. Alright, we've actually got some time for some practice here, so I think I might get a couple of laps on the medium, because that's the tyre that I'm going to run the longest this time. I got some good, I got a good few laps of practice on the hard there, so I think I'm going to practice on the medium now. I did soft, did hard, now I'm going to do medium. Like I said, we got a good couple of attempts tonight, so anything can happen. Last week I got first place on my third attempt, so who knows what can happen. Although at the same time, I've also finished as far down as 11th before, so that's racing. That's racing. Anyway, I'm just going to mute for a couple of seconds. Give me a sec. Right. As they once said only a few years ago, let's get this bread. There's a moth that landed on my TV. I promise I didn't just bin that on my own. I was... Yeah, anyway. Where the hell did it go? That was so annoying. It like landed right on the TV and I was like, okay, that's fine, I'll just work around you, and then it started flying around the TV. Like, in circles. Anyway, that wasn't mildly distracting. Oh, Is that it there? Where is it? I'm serious about this moth, guys. This is crazy. This will moths. It's fine when you're driving a real car because the moth isn't inside the car. It's just on the windshield, but like in a weird yellow comet pattern. You know, it's just splattered all over the head. But in the room in front of a TV is a little bit different. Okay. Anyway, we shall continue on and hope that we don't get disturbed by any other flying insects. Those were a good couple laps. Those are faster than our last medium laps. That was a 35.3, 30. Oh no, 36.2, 9, something. What? I wasn't really looking at the times, to be honest. I was just seeing purple, purple, purple. What? 36.3. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so we're only a second off the soft tyre time on the mediums now. That's pretty good. Alright, we'll start on the mediums then. That is now our strong tyre. M. Shoemaker, TJS, Fabio, and XAP Sprat. All people that I have raced before. They are all pretty quick as well. They are pretty close to us in terms of championship points as well. Muji, who was in our last race, and Trinity Cent, they have 323, 355 points. Shoemaker has 320, so we have a few more points than him. So that means that those guys are our race right there. We want to make sure that we are on the soft tyre here, so that we can actually get a good qualifying lap. Those were a couple of good medium laps. I reckon we'll get a good qualifying here. If we get a good clear run and we don't make a mistake. But I think we do have some better pace there after taking a little bit of a break as well and just thinking about the race. So in saying about thinking about the race and the 77 points we're racing for, okay, not 101 anymore. Yeah, thinking about the race, I will start on the mediums and then go to the hards maybe. Or start on the mediums, go onto the soft, and see how long I can take the medium and soft until the end of the race, and then go onto the hard. Or kind of depends on what lap someone comes in and what tyre they're on. Just giving ourselves a little bit of space again. Captain Chaos is in our race again as well. He's pretty quick. These are all people we raced in the last Nations Cup. Managed to keep it on the track. I knew that was going to come. I drifted a little bit too wide on the entry and touched the grass. It's alright, we got enough for another lap. That was pretty good for the first couple sectors there. What are our sector times? 18 flat, Okay, that was... Oh, yeah, because that's where we spun, yep. Do we have someone on a fast lap behind? No. 26.8 for the first sector, that's mediocre. I'm gonna give myself space from that guy because I was catching up to him quite fast. That mistake was my own, but yeah. I was on the brakes a little early on to the last chicane there, but we within a second of pole position there. I had a couple of bad laps there as well, but still managed to finish in the top 10. Low midfield there at the moment, and the gap to 5th, so the upper midfield, is only 4/10 of a second. So still pretty good, and those are the competitors for our championship race at the moment anyway. Not really in a championship race, but for the points that we have at the moment, they're the closest competitors. So those are the people that we want to beat, and we'll be up by a couple of places in the region, I imagine. 135.6 makes a podium as well. So if we found only a couple tenths, 4 tenths, 6 tenths of a second would put us on the second row on the grid. It's not a grid start, but the racing's actually pretty close in this one. 35.2 makes the fastest lap of the race, of qualifying. And given that the medium is only a second off of that, our medium time, I think we'll do pretty good. I forgot to switch to the mediums. That moth is back on the screen. I'm gonna go get it. Alright, so coming into our second attempt of the night, had a little bit of a break, didn't get the best qualifying lap, qualified in 10th, but the fastest lap of the race, the fastest lap of qualifying rather, is our fastest practice lap at the moment as well, so doesn't look like it's going to be too bad of a race. Getting to the podium is only 4 tenths away from our qualifying time as well, which is about not too far off our medium time as well. I didn't have a very good qualifying, I'll say that. We did get a, what is it, a 130, oh no, I qualified in 8th, I missed myself. That's funny, I missed myself on the grid. All good. Well, we're starting in 8th anyway, starting on the soft tyre. I meant to start on the medium, so I guess we're just doing our fast stint straight off the bat. We'll just have to see how this goes. A little bit of a lock-in moment. We have 4 times tyre wear throughout this race and 25 laps of racing. The stakes just got raised a little bit. But either way, going into the race, let's see what we can do. I'm going to turn off my mic now. Are you kidding me? Oh, nah, that had to be intentional. I tried to, nah. Wow, okay, 2 races in a row? Crazy. easy overtake when they do it for us. I was just about to say it's getting hard to drive like this. Oh, there's people coming across. Okay. Yeah, we lost our pit positions. That's fine, I'm gonna come in and get the mediums. These tyres are getting hard to survive on now. I mean, I know I've still got a little bit of a tyre left, but I've also got a few other tyres available. Medium. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do the hard until the end of the race. The softs wore off a lot quicker than I thought they would, and there's just... the traction in this car is so terrible that driving with those tyres, don't even attempt. Anyway, back to it. The off wasn't because of me. The bump was perfectly fine. Why did I go into the pits and change to the hards? I should have just stayed on the... I'm going to get a 3-second penalty anyway, so I might as well just go on to the end of the race. Everyone else still has their fast tyre. We've done all our tyres, so this is us until the end of the race maybe. We'll see. This is such a brutal penalty line, man. 3 seconds along here as well. So we got 10 seconds on Captain Chaos there, and by the time we get to the chicane, let's see what it looks like. I saw it say 5 for a second there. Yeah, 5.8. Not 3 seconds at all. Even though you spin out, even though I spun out and went over the pit line, I'll still get the penalty. That's how that works. But it's fine. We're sitting in 10th, 2 positions lower than we started in. But having done our final pit stop of the race, everyone else is yet to pit, and I was too focused on my talking. I'm too well known. I'm going to make myself too well known for that soon. That's right. We've still got one more attempt in the bag. Actually, what's the time? Nah, I want to get some points. And there's Captain Chaos in 10th place. The fight we've all waited to see. Battle for 10th place, 51 seconds in front of 12th. Stop talking, Colt. I think my shift paddles aren't working properly. That's 3 gear shifts I missed there because the paddles didn't click. 2 downshifts and 1 upshift. Either that or I'm just not pressing it enough. Could be both. Not terrible pace on the hard. Oh wait, no. Breaking into that corner isn't the right line though, so... Did anyone see what tyre, anyone see what tyre TJS went onto? I know he came off a medium. Oh no, they're miles in front of me. Doesn't matter. That's fine. He says. Sorry, I just got a fucking massive fright. Something just like thudded my chair, or like made everything in the room just like. Okay, well this race is going terribly anyway, so I think I might bail from this one. But that gave me a fright. Damn. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Sorry, I completely bailed. I like came around the corner and I felt something jump in the chair or something like that. I like. Had to quickly check over my shoulder. It honestly felt like something hit the back of my chair. That's honestly terrifying. I am alone in my room. Well, to my knowledge. I can't see anyone, so... Cool. Okay. They're haunting my races. Look at that. So we've got one more attempt on the board. We keep getting taken out in the first lap. And taking myself out, to be honest, and I've ruined my strategy a couple of times. This one will be the last attempt. I don't think I'm going to do another one. These honestly are, like I was saying in the break between the last race, this track is quite difficult with this car. It's a very narrow track. I mean, I kind of had a bit of a flow for a few corners there. On the medium, I was definitely locked down for a couple of laps. I think we did 3:37.8s in a row, and then ended up getting a 37.1 at some point as well, and maybe even dropping below that. We went purple on the mediums, so we had some really good pace on there. It's just it just sucks that we accidentally started the race on the soft. I forgot to change my tyres after qualifying and had the soft tyre, and actually I made a couple of good positions off the start, but I did come off. How did I come off again? I don't even remember. That's crazy. I don't remember the start of the last race, but I can remember all the way back to the age of 3. Can you believe that? That's crazy. Yeah, what happened on the first lap? There was a couple of good overtakes actually when everyone was all bunched up. This is qualifying. I've gone to the wrong part of the stream. I've wound back the stream to see the mistake on the first lap. I think I got taken out. I definitely did in the last race. There was. Oh no, that's what it was. It was someone pushed us off. There was someone who we were gaining on through Spoon, and on the exit of it, there was a car that was on the exit of the on the rumble strip on the exit of the second stage of Spoon. And he wasn't Ghost, but there was someone on the inside who was Ghost, and I was following someone else who was going through the ghosted vehicle. And when I made the overtake on the person on the rumble strip, as mentioned before, I'm sure that was intentional. I'm sure he intentionally pushed us off. I don't know what that was. That was terrifying. No, not terrifying. Annoying. That's the right word for it. Yeah, no, I'm still kind of thinking about how I feel about that. That's, I mean, yeah, racing's racing, but that one felt very intentional. That one felt like, I don't know, words I can't say on YouTube apparently. I got told off for letting a word slip in a stream. I've been pretty good with it, but yeah. So the next race, I don't know what lap time I'm gonna aim for. 35.3 would be pretty good, but we haven't really gotten those. We could try. I'm honestly in a little bit of pain from the seat, to be honest. I tried setting it up properly this time, but still not working. Look at that track. It's a good track. I think I need to practice on the hard tyre. The medium and soft, you can only really get to about lap 18, kind of. I mean, I could have taken the medium a lot further than I did, but I crashed into the pit lane, so I was like, I might as well go into the pit so that I don't get the penalty. So that if I get the penalty, it's not going to affect my outlap, but that did not happen. We got a bad outlap anyway. I spun because I was too focused on commentating. Splitting my attention. It's not good. I mean, I don't know many people who are good at it on YouTube. Even the biggest content creators can't talk and drive. Sometimes. Most of the time. I'm actually going to get up and move around because that race actually was a little bit sore, to be honest. The brake pedal on this Logitech wheel gets a little bit painful after a while. It starts to cut into your foot, even if you're wearing socks. You can feel your foot sliding around on it, and it gets a little bit. It's like running your foot on the back of a knife over and over again. Not on the actual sharp part, but on the not sharp part, blunt part. That's the word. Last Nations Cup race this Saturday. We are on the second to last race at the moment, around Suzuka, as we did only 15 minutes ago. Last round is around Fuji International Speedway. Not sure for how many laps, but it's Group 2 vehicles. But I think it's limited to only a couple of Group 2 vehicles, being the GTR, the Honda, the because it's the Japanese GT500 series that it's meant to be mimicking. So they're using Group 2 cars with the GTR NSX. What's the other one? Lexus. Nah, I don't know. It's a whole bunch of Japanese modes, I think. I read on the forums. Actually, I'll bring it up right now. Or should I do it now? No, I don't have to look up that Gran Turismo. Bear with me, I am opening the Nations Cup. I think we're going to get a bit of a, I think we're going to drop a little bit in terms of the regional ranking. We're 30th at the moment, but I don't think we're going to hold that for too long. Alright, going into the next race. We're going to actually start the race on the mediums this time. I'm looking at the standings, not the race. Event schedule. Yeah, 196, the vehicle. It's not telling me. How many points? 109 points up for grabs. You'll love to see it, you'll love to see it. Good afternoon, Stray, you cunt. I mean, Stray _yak_ hunt. I think that's the word that I got that I got marked for. I think his name is hilarious. I think it's great. Razor 1982 Eagle is in here as well. He has tuned into the stream before. A couple of names I recognise on here. All very fast people. Yeah, very similar in terms of points as well. Got 11 people watching the stream at the moment. Thank you very much for all tuning in. I'm not the best at commentary, I'll say that straight off the bat, but hey, we have fun every now and then. Oh, I didn't mean to hit the gas just then. We're not going to start, are we? Ah, no! I pressed the... Ah! Damn. Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna have to try and build a gap here and just do a real good first lap. Rightio. Man. Okay. Oh, I thought I was gonna do a better lap there. Fastest is a 35.857 and the last lap was 16 slow. This isn't exiting me from the race, I'm just quitting qualifying. We're starting 7th. I'm just going to make sure that we're starting on the medium. That's my strong tyre for this race anyway. I practiced more on the medium than I did on all the other tyres, because that's the one that's going to make it count. The soft, you're naturally faster, and I do have some fast pace, I just don't have the consistency by the look of it. And the medium tyre, I've got the consistency and the pace, so starting the race on that should make it a little bit easier, especially off the start. I mean, at the moment, the fastest is a 1:34.900, which is ridiculous, but next to that is a 1:35, so not too far off what my normal fastest is, but I just couldn't get it done in this qualifying. The podium is a 1:35 flat as well, but Stray Yak Hunt is a 1:35.3. Now, how many points are up for grabs outside of the podium? 95 for 4th, 91 for 5th, and 86 for 6th. And we're in 7th at the moment, which would get us 82, which is normally how many we get for a good, up until recently, a good race for us in the Nations Cup. 5 seconds left on qualifying. Oh, well, 1. It just took me 5 seconds to say that sentence. I think we got the most points in this lobby though, so I don't know, 391 for Cruising Chaos. He's fast in this car. I think he's the guy that we raced around CGV as well. See, qualifying doesn't make the race. That just makes the grid. We have no idea how the race is gonna go. I mean, it could go terrible again, but who knows. A lot of familiar names, but either way, here's a race. Yeah, what's up, guys? Yeah, I appreciate the enthusiasm. A lot of work, but hey, maybe it is up for grabs. This guy's pretty fast, 34.900, but anything can happen in the race. Dart and Vader there with a 35 flat, and Jake with a 35 flat as well, all very fast people. Stray Yak Hunt, he's our main competitor normally. He's got a 35.3, so not the fastest. Still pretty quick. 35.8 ourselves in 7th, 35.9 for 8th behind us, and a 36 for 9th. So some pretty spread out times, but also relatively close together. At the end of the day, race pace is what's going to make it, and we're starting on the medium tyre to try and last until about lap 8, or no, we'll try and go to lap 11, see if we can do lap 11-12, and then we'll change to the hard and finish on the soft. But either way, we are going into the race with that absolutely beautifully cinematic shot there. It's a pretty good shot. Well, here we are on the grid, starting the race in 7th place with some better pace than the last couple of attempts. Right, here we go. Spitting out in the most spectacular fashion there. Tried to keep it all together, but ultimately couldn't. Overcooked it into Degner 1. Really? That's crazy. And now it doesn't want to break traction either. I'm having a great race. I'm having a great race. I'm having a great race. Positive thoughts. I was gaining on them too. Okay, that actually wasn't a bad medium stint, to be honest. We regained all the way to 4th. I don't know what place we're going to come out in. We might have a 3-second penalty for cutting those lines as well. I slipped on the chicane and caught it just before going into the pits, so I made it my pit injury. Ah! I knew that would happen. We're at least in 8th, though, after our first pit stop. I think that's because of how many people have spun out. We ourselves have spun out as well, so I believe we do have a gap to someone. I'm just not sure who. Either way though, we are on our soft tyre stint now, so we are going to knuckle down for the next 8 laps and just rip these tyres apart. And I was just thinking what an incredible race we've been having. Because Darth Vader just came into the pits onto the hards and I was like, oh yeah, I'm on the soft, I've been doing pretty good. And then I go and do that. Not out of the woods just yet, there's someone who's within 2 seconds of us. At least we didn't get damage from it. We made our way up to third. We were in third. I don't know how many pits everyone's done though, and what tyre they're on. Alright, so this race has not gone in our favour either. We're going to finish where we qualified, so it's not all bad. We did manage to recover a couple of positions, and I don't think we'll go below 8th as long as we don't spin. I made a few mistakes tonight, so I think I'm gonna call it quits after this one. I'm pretty sore, pretty tired. And I gave it my best effort, but sometimes, you know, you're just not in it. And I've been kind of struggling to find a flow throughout the night, so nothing wrong in calling it quits when you're struggling. I mean, yeah, it's a race, but I'm gonna take it home here. Kind of shutting the door on that guy behind us. Looking at the wrong part of my screen and taking them out with us, so we should be able to... Can we keep this position, or are we going to get a penalty for taking them off with us? I didn't mean to do that. Ow, my foot is so sore. That's the main part, is the braking. Reaching for this brake pedal that's cutting my foot open. I'm sure there's something... I'm sure there's blood now. Nah, probably not. It's just really sore. Not the worst race, not the best. A minute point 7 off from the lead across the line. We did spin out a few times. It was not a very good race. What the hell? Okay. Sorry, I just saw text. Yeah, no, finished where we started, so not the worst race. We did spin out quite a bit though. It's a very difficult. That's a very difficult combo to master. That was kind of hard. We got 77 points. Not excellent, but still something on the board. Better than 0. You know, better than 0. So that's gonna be the last one for me today. I'm a little bit sore from work and doing this for 3 hours, but yeah, anyway, thanks for stuffing my race. It's racing. Tool. Sorry, I like stirring the pot sometimes. Yeah. So 77 points on the board. Not the worst, not terrible. We didn't get 59 at least. We managed to actually come across a line with something. Almost lost to 9th there. I had to fight for 8th for about 2 laps there. But yeah, not the worst. Not. Damn, I'm stuttering so much. I'm just in shock of how bad that was. I'm trying to say not bad. In my head, I think it's absolutely terrible. That was a shocking performance. Let's be real here. I kept spinning. I kept missing my braking points. I wasn't accelerating out of the corners properly. I spun the car coming out of a corner. I don't know how many times. Didn't go back. Didn't go into the back of cars so often. But man, keeping that car on track was a mission. That was difficult. That was very difficult. I didn't get a lot of practice this week, so that's my personal justification, so that I feel a little bit better in myself. But yeah, and we also got 77 points, which that 101 is the first time I've seen 100 points available in one of my races. So 77 points is about 6 off what I can normally get for a win. And we didn't even win, so that's huge. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. Didn't do too good. A couple of things to take back is the braking. I don't know. There's a few things I need to tidy up. I definitely need to practice, but that's the whole reason why I'm doing this. Practice. But anyway, with that being said, I'm not sure. I'll see what the standings are tomorrow. They'll update tomorrow after the last race, which is this one at midnight and then another one at 1 AM. But I have work tomorrow and I am in pain, as I mentioned, so I'm not going to be doing that. But anyway, with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy my pain and agony and my spinning pirouettes and pretending that this car knows how to dance, then you know exactly what to do. Leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell. And yeah, if you want to see more of these, there are more live streams on my channel with a couple more races and the Nations Cup. They should all be in a playlist along with their counterpart videos to go with them if they have them. But anyway, with that shameless plug being finished, I am going to finish it there and go to sleep, I guess. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, grease monkeys.